Hi guys, James here from Meatster. Thanks for joining me again for another video. Now today is going to be a slightly quirky one, I think. You can see I've got this rather alien looking machine next to me, and I've got this huge piece of beef. Yep, it's the USDA Prime Strip Loin. Now I've got some plans for this, but the first thing I have to do is prepare it. And then we're going to use it for a little test. What I have here is a sort of multi-cooker. Now, I was actually just looking for a rice cooker and I ended up with this beast. It's a pressure cooker, air fryer, pressure crisper, whatever that means. It can do a few things, grilling and cooking rice and lots of other sort of interesting and fun things. I did actually film a video with it the other day, and unfortunately my audio was all over the place and I wasn't able to use it. But I did do some chicken wings in here, which I'm going to do again and show you, and it was actually pretty good for that. This machine is a novelty in a way. It's really useful for cooking the rice, which is what I wanted it for, but I want to test out lots of other things with it. I would say that if you're a young person, or if you're just starting out and you've got a little studio flat or somewhere that doesn't have a great kitchen or a really small oven, that this could actually be a really useful thing for you. I mean, you can fit a whole decent sized chicken in it. You can make all sorts of slow cooked, so it's also a slow cooker, I should add. You can make slow cooked chilies and ragouts and all sorts of other things. You can grill your fish and your meat in here. You can make chips and rice and loads of stuff. You can basically take the place of an oven, a pressure cooker, a grill, a fryer. So very, very handy. Now today, just on this first use with the machine, I am going to basically deep fry a steak. I did a deep fry steak video last time and I didn't love the outcome, but I think partly that was because I used some really cheap beef because I wasn't confident with deep frying it. And secondly, I didn't like the flavour of the oil. So today we're going to air fry it. Now that basically means that you don't need to actually add any oil in, but it has a way of crisping it up and it sort of simulates deep frying, but maybe this could be better than actually deep frying it. So we're going to get a couple of steaks off here. I'm going to air fry one and I'm going to just cook one conventionally on the hob here behind me. So let's get on with it. Just so you know, we have the air fried one on this side and the normally pan fried one on this side. I have to say I'm a little bit afraid when I look at this. The book said 10 to 20 minutes, and obviously I wanted to try and make sure that it wasn't overcooked. They didn't give any more detail than that. Unusually, the fat has completely separated itself. So basically all of the connective sort of bits have cooked quite well. I mean, they sort of melt under the fork. And on the other hand, I can see like that the meat might be pink on the inside. Anyway, this reminds me of the sort of steak you might have got maybe 20 years ago, you know, when people just put them in the oven. Or at least I've seen that done before. So why don't we remind ourselves what a good sirloin steak should look like. All right, here we go. There we go. nice and pink throughout, medium with a crust, and that looks really appetizing. So now let's get the slightly grey steak. You'll see here, so you can see here that the two parts of the steak have separated really, really easily, whilst the actual inside of the meat looks like it will be really pink. So here we go. Have I just ruined an amazing USDA prime steak in this weird gizmo that I've got? Well, the meat is not undercooked. Funnily enough, it's quite similar to this one. I'd say the one I did in the pan is pinker. As I said, I had no guidance on exactly how long, so I did it for basically the minimum time. But the proof is in the pudding. It's an unusual looking steak, but now I just want to give it a taste. Let's go with this one first. Cheers. Oh. Oh wow. As I've said many times already, USDA Prime strip loin is one of my very, very favorite steaks, and that does not let you down. Incredibly juicy, tender, full of beefy flavor. There's nothing really unusual about it, except that it's just the perfect, pure, delicious beef flavor that you're looking for. It's not aged, it doesn't have any sort of other characteristic. You just enjoy it so much as it is. So I'm always happy to eat that. But here we go. Have I found the new way to cook great New York strip? Let's find out. I've got to say, I'll give that a 9.5 out of 10. Let's see what I would give this. Let's have one from the outside here. Well, it might be as you exactly expect from looking at the outside of it. There is really so little Maillard reaction here that the beef tastes great. It's, you know, you get a lot of the same flavor, but you miss the wonderful crust and the flavor that you get from that caramelization here. You just didn't get that here. And yet the inside has cooked quite a lot. It's still juicy because of the quality of the beef. I think if you used a cheap steak, it may not turn out too well, but this is so juicy that it's okay. But if you cook this for the 20 minutes that they recommended at the top end, I think you still wouldn't get much of a crust and you'd end up with a really dry steak. So far, 2 strikes to trying to deep fry a steak. We did the last video on deep frying and I honestly detested it. And in this case, there's nothing horrible about it. You're just not going to get the most potential out of your steak if you use it in these machines. And it does say in the manual that you can cook steaks in there. But we're going to come back and do a few more tests on this in the future. There are other ways to cook steak in there, such as grilling, and also pressure cooking from frozen and then crisping it up, supposedly. So there we go, guys. Shocking news of the day. Pan-fried steak beats dry fried steak. Anyway, if you like this sort of content, you like to watch people cooking good steaks, then why don't you subscribe to the channel? It would be much appreciated. Give this video a thumbs up. I'm off on holiday for the next couple of weeks, so you might see a gap in the schedule, either for 1 week and then a video and then another week of holiday, or 2 weeks in a row. I'm not sure. I hope you have a nice summer if you're going away, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.